Sir, I stand to support on behalf of the DMK party to support this Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Second Amendment Bill 2022. Sir, this is one of the rarest opportunities we get to support a bill moved by this BJP government.
You got the opportunity.
In the least my acquaintance with Hindi in these past 2 decades, difference between tum and aap, that would treat those communities with respect. I request the minister to take into consideration and do that while framing the rules. That I already thanked.
Please.
That too because of our chief minister who has represented to the prime minister. Sir, because all these things, why we are telling, we have miles to go even now. We have to bring out many other communities. Sir, such a historical move after so many long years have been brought in. I didn't want to give an obstruction. Simply, I would like to say much more has to be done to bring up this community. Sir, at the outset, we would like to thank to our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. DMK Stalin, who has written a letter to the Prime Minister.
Honorable Trichy Siva.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir. Sir, this is one of the rarest opportunities we get to support a bill moved by this BJP government.
You got the opportunity.
Sir, I stand to support on behalf of the DMK party to support this Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Second Amendment Bill 2022. Sir, this bill provides for the inclusion of 2 communities, Narikoravans and Kurvikarans, in the Scheduled Tribes Order. Sir, at the outset, we would like to thank to our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. DMK Stalin, who has written a letter to the Prime Minister explaining the deprived conditions of these 2 communities and their vulnerability, and requested to include these 2 communities under the Scheduled Tribes list. And we also are thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for having brought this bill, including these 2 communities. Sir, it's a very great step. I have something else to say. Before that, I would have moved an amendment to this bill, which would have been considered by the government also. But I didn't do that. Because if at all it has been accepted by the government, and if it is passed here, it has to go to the Lok Sabha again. Sir, such a historical move after so many long years have been brought in. I didn't want to give an obstruction. So I would like to make it as a request before the minister to keep it in consideration. It need not be through an amendment because I didn't also move. It could be brought while framing the rules. The main thing is, sir, the nomenclature. It is the Narikuravan and Kurvikaran. It is a disrespectful manner of calling a person. In the least my acquaintance with Hindi in these past 2 decades, difference between tum and aap. That's it. It could be Narikuravar and Kurvikarar. That is the last letter of these 2 nomenclatures. Instead of N, it could be replaced with R. That would treat those communities with respect. I request the minister to take into consideration and do that while framing the rules. This is very, very, very important, sir. Sir, I'm very sorry to say that after 7 decades of independence and becoming a republic, now only we are identifying some communities to be brought under the tribes. That I already thanked.
Please.
That too because of our chief minister who has represented to the prime minister. This is not politics, sir. This is about a community. Mr. Narasimha Rao, my esteemed colleague, was telling only just 27,000. It is 27,000 precious human lives. Even for 1 or 2 persons who are suffering, languishing in another country, we are trying so much to evacuate them. These 27,000 are their population census has yet to be arrived at. Because now only they are going to get, sir, may I remind you, sir, when the BSc met last time with regard to these bills, I suggested that all the bills could be taken up in 4 hours. But the leader of the house said that every bill will be given 2 hours And those from those respective states will be given more time. And Parliamentary Affairs Minister also accepted that. So kindly please consider this is a bill with regard to our state. Sir, we are identifying them only now. Tribal people are our ancestors. We would also have been, once our ancestors would have been tribals only. They live with the nature. They live in the nature. They are the protectors of the nature. But sir, because of industrialization and mining operations, so many tribal villages have been totally uprooted. See, now that they are deprived of their livelihood, their way of living, and they are not able to mix with the mainstream, how sad it would have been. It is banned all these years. And especially in the same house, I remember very well, sir, if you want, I can lay the document. In the same December 2015, I have raised the same issue. Because everyone knows that in the 1871 Act of British rule, they were under the Criminal Tribes Act. Because the British want to keep them as slaves or to control them. Later, after independence, that act was repealed. And a committee, high-level committee under B.S. Lokur was appointed, and that committee has recommended these two communities to be included. Later, it has not happened. But in 2013, the then Minister of Tribal Affairs, he introduced a bill, sir, that couldn't pass because of the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. So 2015, I made a reference here to include these two communities. At last, it has come now, thanks to our Chief Minister and our present Prime Minister. Sir, understanding our situation, see, this is a message to our people there. These people are nomadic. They were living by way of hunting. Now hunting has been banned. So they don't have any other way of living. I know, sir, some youth in this community who have been graduated with an engineering degree, but they are not getting employment because of the reservation. But now this bill provides them that they come under the scheduled tribe, they will be eligible. Sir, because all these things, why we are telling, we have miles to go even now. We have to bring out many other communities. This reservation, by way of bringing them under this order, by way of including them as scheduled tribes, sir, so many will be benefited. So, sir, this community who have been a deplored community all these years, and now that, sir, this bill enables, I have to support. I have a lot to say, but you are nodding head makes me to understand. And as I requested,
you have two more speakers.
Sir, yeah, of course, sir. But yes, only Tamil Nadu is more concerned, and we accepted to that. That's why, sir. And I have nothing more to say. Simply, I would like to say, much more has to be done to bring up this community. The reservation policy alone has helped those who have been downtrodden, suppressed, and sidelined, and discriminated. And by way of this reservation, sir, it's a right place to mention, the first amendment to the Constitution was brought in for reservation to the scheduled castes and tribes by way of our struggle in Tamil Nadu, Periyar, Anna, Kalaignar, and Kamarajar. And now that, sir, now these steps have been moving forward, and I thank the government for having considered to the request of our Chief Minister, and two communities are going to flourish in the coming days, and much more to be done. Thank you very much, sir.